welcome along to another edition of In the Sheds as we look back on the Saturday and Sunday fixtures of round 25 in the Betfred Super League, starting at the Harley-Well Jones Stadium as the Warrington Wolves win 16 points to 2. Warrington now will finish a minimum of third. Nobody can catch them in that position, and they will still consider themselves very much alive for a second spot in Super League this year. This was not a classic game between Saints and the Wire. There's no doubt about that. But dearie me, let's get into it. Let's unpack it, because there's plenty to talk about. First things first, let's talk about the Matty Ashton try. Beautiful Eyes Up Rugby League. That's what that is, ladies and gentlemen. Eyes Up Rugby League. Walmsley knocks on. You know, let's be fair, St. Helens just clock off. So un-Saints-like. And Matty Ashton, Eyes Up Rugby League. Oh, off he goes like a dancing gazelle. Through he goes into the corner. Classic Matty Ashton. Beautiful stuff from the Ashton. Crowers try as well. Very well taken. And then, of course, it was a kick fest from there on in. The main talking points in this game for me, a couple. First things first, let's get to the yellow cards. Fitzgibbon, for me, again, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. Ritson last week at Huddersfield, now at Warrington. He is ducking into the challenges. I'm just going to call it there, St. Helens fans. You might not like it, but it's true. What is Fitzgibbon supposed to do? What was young Fenton Rogers supposed to do last week? If he's ducking into a tackle, he's putting himself in shoulder territory. You know, Fitzgibbon stood up there. He's not trying to do him, and he runs into the shoulder. I'm sorry, that's fact. His running technique is going to do him some harm. Is he playing for them? I don't know. That's controversial. I know it's very controversial, but that is the way that I see it. I'm sorry, but T. Ritson needs to consider his own personal safety. You shouldn't be ducking into challenges at full speed, especially when you're as fast as T. Ritson. I'm sorry, but for me, I'm perplexed. Yellow at worst. I mean, I'm sorry, yeah, all right, by this year's standards, it's probably a yellow for Fitzgibbon. Do I like it? Absolutely not. I don't. And then we go to Josh Drinkwater. And I've got to say, you St. Helens fans, you know, you're not going to like what I've just said about T. Ritson. You're not going to like what I'm going to say now about Josh Drinkwater. How can you possibly come out on social media and say that Josh Drinkwater was milking it? Clear flexion to the neck. I got you there, didn't I? Shocking! Absolutely shocking! It was a disgrace! Oh, Joshua, lad, what you doing, mate? What you doing? Sam Burgess, oh dear, talk about egg custard on the face, dear me. Give him some cream and a cherry to top it off, because quite frankly, Josh Drinkwater has made Sam look a little bit of a fool. Oh, yes. Terrible, disgraceful, sorry, unbelievable. Do I think he's been hit after the ball has gone? Yeah. Do I think it means he rolls around on the floor like a footballer for 5 minutes? Absolutely not. Deary me, not good enough. Really disappointed in Josh Drinkwater. I'm just, you know, as I always say, I call it straight, and I'm calling it straight. That has no place on a rugby league field, and no wonder Matty Lees was livid, filthy, giving him plenty of eyeballs and verbal on the way off. And quite frankly, I don't blame Matty Lees. I thought it was an absolute shocker by Josh. There you go, called it. Yeah, of all of the yellow cards we've seen in the last couple of weeks, that's probably one of the weakest. Oh, dearie me, what on earth is rugby league coming to if that is a yellow card? Simple as that. Very disappointing. Luckily, though, I don't think either had any real bearing on the game. St. Helens, dearie me, they are a shadow of the side that they have been over, you know, the last 5 or 6 years. Walmsley, not in great form at this moment in time. He won't mind me saying that. You know, a couple of really bad moments in this game. Has he hurt his knee again? I think there'll be a lot of St. Helens fans looking at that. He went down injured. Robertson went down injured. There's no doubt Jack Welsby should have been nowhere near the field. Nowhere near the field. All he did was catch a ball and offload it to a winger to go and run. Jack's not fully fit. I don't care what anybody says. And I think it reeks of the desperation that St. Helens are in at this moment in time. I think Wellens had to take a gamble because he knows that their playoff survival, it's not guaranteed. You know, it really isn't guaranteed. And if they picked up even more injuries now going into next week's game, you know, we know the last game's at the Lee Sports Village against Lee. So for me, you know, really dark times indeed for Saints. There's not an awful lot of good that comes out of this for St. Helens. The only real shining light for me was Morgan Knowles again. I thought Knowles yet again really stood up for the Saints in this one on both sides of the ball. Morgan Knowles for me has been perhaps second only to Elliot Minchella in 2024 in terms of loose forward positions. I think Morgan Knowles this year, I think, has had probably one of his better seasons. And what we're actually seeing from Morgan Knowles is a maturity, a bit more maturity now coming into his game. A future leader for me, potentially, of the St. Helens outfit. Really impressed with Morgan Knowles in this game. But that's pretty much as good as it gets for Saints. Like I say, shadow of the forward self, devoid of confidence. And there's this big narrative that when they get the players back, well, as we saw with French a week ago, Wells being win this one. It's going to take the likes of Curtis Sivan and etc., Lewis Dodd, Darrell Clark, to maybe a game to get back to the usual form. If that might take them a little bit longer. And of course, now we're really at the point. I mean, Saints are already in playoff rugby league mode. Saints have to continue to win. It's as simple as that. They need another win. And if they don't get one next week, let me tell you now, I fancy leading that final game. St. Helens, you fans get sweating. But that said, Warrington Wolves fans just need to curb it a little bit. Yes, they've beaten Saints 3 times out of 3 in 2024. The Challenge Cup win didn't get them the Challenge Cup. And the likelihood is it will be Warrington against the Saints at the Halliwell Jones Stadium in the elimination playoff. And do you know what? Don't you just know what's going to happen there, Warrington Wolves fans? So, like I say, need to be a little bit careful. Enjoy the win. They always say never write off the Saints, but I have to say, if that particular St. Helens team playing like that goes into the playoffs, they're not getting to the grand final. They're not winning the grand final. There has to be a massive swing in form, in attitude, in confidence at Saints for them to have any chance for me of getting to Old Trafford this season. As for Warrington, a professional win, only 16-2. I felt Warrington probably had gears that they could have gone through. I don't think Warrington had to really fight too hard for this win, if I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah, Saints' defence was pretty good, but, Paul Wellens for me at full time. Sorry, Paul, but there wasn't an awful lot of good that you can take out of that. And I know he's got to put a little bit of a swing. He's been quite cutting, hasn't he, over his players. And if he carries on that, we've seen over the years what happens when a coach turns on the players. I think he's got to balance that week in, week out. But he looks a man in the headlights at the moment. He looks in real he's really concerned for me. The body language at full time with him and McManus wasn't great. Not great at all. But hey, there you go. Warrington Wolves. Great win for them. They're third. They'll be delighted. Like I said, the controversy. And I have to mention Chris Kendall. What's that yellow about to Josh Fulis on 80 minutes? Really? 16-2. He's not trying to gain an advantage. They're shattered. They've just gone through a game. Is he lying on? Yeah, he is. Would both sides at that point in time take a hooter? Yeah, they would. What are you doing, man? Deary me. Unbelievable. As like I say, Chris Kendall, sponsored by Clinton Cards 2025. Dear me. Deary me. Anyway, let's get into the 3-2-1. 3 points in this game is going to go to Matty Ashton of the Warrington Wolves. What a game Ashton had. Like I said, eyes up rugby league for his try. Really good. 8 tackle busts in the game. 18 carries, 165 metres. He did so much work coming out of backfield for Warrington. He was really, really assured. I thought he helped Kai Taylor in that department. Took a little bit of the load from you off the young man. Matty Ashton as well, showing his maturity in 2024. Many congratulations to Matty. He gets our 3 points this week. 2 points are going to go to Benjamin Curry. Yeah, I thought Ben played well. 74 minutes, as Sky rightly said, on both sides of the ball, 32 deep tackles in this game. 19 carries, 83 metres from him. So really good. I thought Luke Yates ran him close for that, but I have to give the 1 point to Morgan Knowles in defeat. I thought Knowles was exceptional. 33 tackles from Knowles, 137 metres from 23 carries from Knowles. I thought he was really good value indeed on the losing side. Many congratulations to Morgan. Do you agree with the 3-2-1? Do you believe that St. Helens are for them in a little bit of crisis? Were you surprised at how poor they were? Should Wellesby have started? What about Walmsley? Is he fully fit? How do you see them going next week? As for the Warrington Wolves, of course, now, can they still get into the top 2? Critical week coming up this week. We'll know. Hull KR this week, of course, going up against the Lee Leopards. If they were to falter, I think Sam Burgess then goes to the London game, really up for it and looking to overturn that points difference with Hull KR. I think there's no doubt about that in my mind whatsoever. If Hull KR was to win this week at the Lee Leopards, I think we might see a bit of rotation against London, giving a couple of his key players a little bit of a break. What do you make on that one? But anyway, fascinating stuff at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Warrington Wolves 16, Warrington Wolves 2, as we now go to the Salford Community Stadium. Salford Red Devils 27, Catalan Dragons 12 in what was quite simply a real playoff contender. Well, who was going to be in the playoffs? Let's be crystal on that one. And it was Salford who came through in the end. I have to say, right from the get-go, we've just given Chris Kendall a load of pelters. Let's give Liam Moore a big rap on the back. I thought he officiated this brilliant. There was a couple of headshots in there, a bit of biff here and there. He managed to keep all of the players on the field for the full 80 minutes. Many congratulations to him. The same cannot be said for the video referee that was the giggle goal. The man, the Jiminy Cricket, call it whatever you want. Mr. Vella on the Stella, as Steph would say. What on earth was the disallowed try of Ethan Ryan all about at the end? Did it have any bearing on the game? Absolutely not, but it was comedy gold. Oh, yes. I mean, dearie me, how many times? It must have been at least 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I mean, you know, and what being funny, it was like listening to Two Unlimited. No limit. You know, he just kept repeating the same thing. I need to see. I need to see. I need to see. We know you need to see. Come on, use your eyes and stop using your mouth, Mr. Vella. And even when he used his eyes, he didn't get it right. Oh, it was an absolute shocker. Stella on the bell. Oh, it's not Bella on the Stella. Even I'm getting confused with words now. What an absolute far that was. On one hand, Liam Moore, good officiating. On the other, video referee. Ruining the game, Mr. Stella. I'm sorry, you cannot perform like that in the bunker. I'm telling you now, Sky, I will audition right now. Put Steph in the bunker next year. And let me tell you, we will make rugby league quicker, far quicker. I only need to see things once or twice. I don't, you know, these are supposed to be professional referees, and they're taking it how many times? How many? Camera 9, camera 5, camera 2. Who cares about camera 5 and 2? Camera 9 shows you it's not a knock on. Give the try. Let's move on, son. Unbelievable from Vella on the Stella. Dear me. But let's get back to the game. What a game. I mean, this for me, I thought it was brilliant. Really good game. You know, two teams very much so looking to fight to stay in the playoff. Catalan needed to win this. This is a big loss for the Catalan Dragons. Yes, it can still go on. Two very favourable fixtures for them coming up, of course, in Super League to finish off London Broncos and Hull FC. So, you know, they'll be feeling pretty confident. I think that they can maybe pick up the 4 points, but I think it's going to be too late because I don't think they'll get enough points to knock one of the other teams off. I do think the likes of Saints will finish on 30 points. I think there's no doubt the Lee Leopards are going to be over 30. Salford Red Devils are already there. So I think this for me was the knockout blow for Catalan. Even though I think they're capable of maybe getting those 2 wins, I don't think it's going to be enough. I really don't. A big loss this for Steve McNamara. And it started off really well because for the first 5 or 6 minutes, you know, like they've done in quite a few games this season, Catalan were in control of this game. They took a 2 early on, which I think showed their fragility at the moment. Yes, you know, when you get to playoff rugby league, you take the points on offer. But, you know, for me, in this one, I think they should have gone for the throw. I really do. They didn't do that. And, of course, what happened next? I mean, you couldn't write the script, really, could you? Couldn't write the script. Jaden Nicarima. Again, we just talked about Matty Ashton and Eyes Up Rugby League. Exactly the same from the Salford Red Devils. I think once that mistake happens, and let's say another walk-of-life moment, dire straits, I mean, Mathieu Laguerre and Tom Davis giving us comedy gold on Salford's pitch. I mean, dearie me, where's the call there, boys? Where's the communication? I mean, if you want to have a little kiss and a cuddle at full time, crack on, but don't do it on a rugby league field trying to catch a ball. Dearie me, shocking effort from those two. And of course, from that point on, it's about Eyes Up Rugby League, and Salford executed beautifully well. And in goes Nicarima. Thank you very much against his former team to put them right in the box seat. That said, the return try from Arthur Morg, oh, that was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful from deep. I mean, outstanding rugby league football. Salford scrambling, couldn't scramble enough. Fantastic play from the Catalan Dragons. Where's that been for most of the season? Because they have been a little bit blunt, haven't they, in those defensive and those offensive areas. But they took that try really well. Then, of course, we have the Tim. I thought the Joe Mellor try was taken well. That said, I mean, dear me, you need to backdoor when you've got front door like that. He just waltzed it through, didn't it? It was unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, just like, yeah, go on, then I'll have a try. If you're all going to be allowing me through, it's like, you know, in, out. It's almost like a training session, you know, like when you put the spikes in the ground and you do the ins and out. It was like that. Nobody even attempted to try, even attempted to tackle him. Unbelievable stuff. Joe Mellor says, thank you very much indeed. In I go. And here's an old one for you in a classic. Let's pass round the celebrations tin, because in he went. And then, of course, we talk about the man Mountain, who could be leaving the Salford Red Devils. A lot of rumours around that. Tim Lefay, what a performance yet again. Not only his try, but yes, the man who just does it time and time again. The little ball out the back door to Dion Cross. Yet again, Timothy delivers. Outstanding skill. I mean, it really is. Dion Cross must be stood down the side going, oh yes, here comes another 4-pointer. I'll have another one for my career stats. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Lefay. And in he goes. Outstanding stuff from Tim Lefay. Dion Cross, of course, the beneficiary of that. It was a good win. I mean, it looks comfortable, doesn't it? 27-12. I don't think it was. I thought Catalan at times were very competitive. You know, right across the stats of the game, it's really competitive. There's no doubt about that in my book. It was a really good game of rugby league. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. And like I say, just for the comedy goal on 77, where Vella on the Stella did what he did on the video ref, it's worth watching. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch it, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe your eyes or your ears. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, it's like, I need to, he's got to overturn. No, he wouldn't. Even the commentator thought it was a try and he was going to give it, and then it was a no try because he didn't have sufficient evidence. What an absolute nonsense. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's get into the 3-2-1. I've got to give 3 points to Timothy Lafay. I mean, what a player Tim Lafay is. Outstanding. 5 more tackle busts in this game. Lovely try. Beautiful offload. That's what we pay to see, ladies and gentlemen. Have a little bit of that. Oh, yeah, Dion. Have a little bit of that. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Oh, I just love rugby league football when it's executed like that, and I'm sure you do too. The 2 points I'm going to give to Joe Mellor. Joe Mellor has been a revelation. Absolute revelation. No, they lost Andy Ackers to the Leeds Rhinos at the start of the season. Everybody's thinking, oh, dearie me, that's a hammer blow. Let's be fair, Ackers have not pulled up many trees at Leeds. And, in goes Joe Mellor, and as the season's gone on, he's just got better and better. He took his try well. He's a tackling machine. 42 tackles in the game from Joe. He got a tackle bust in there, carried the ball 15 times, 11 runs from dummy half. He terrorised them. I thought Joe Mellor on the day, outstanding. I'm going to give one to Ryan Briley, 2 more assists for Ryan. Really solid performance from him. Again, this fascination over Sneed getting 3 points. Sorry, I didn't think Sneed was that particularly. I didn't think his kicking game was as good as it has been throughout the season. He kicked, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't an awful lot other. I mean, you'd say, well, he made Laguerre and David. No, he didn't. That's Laguerre and David just having an absolute mare. Nothing to do with the kick. For me, I think I'm happy with that. 3 for Lafay, 2 for Joe Mellor, and 1 for Ryan Briley. Do you agree with that, Salford Red Devils fans? Are you now in the playoff? I hope you are. I think you deserve it. The heartbreak of last year is a long, long memory away now. I think Salford will be competing in the playoffs, and they've shown time again this season that in the playoffs they can give anybody a game, and probably of these 2 teams deserve to be in the playoffs far more than the Catalan Dragons, as when you take into account the whole season. The Dragons out there, do you think that you can somehow miraculously get into the 6? I'm sorry to say, I think you're going to miss out this season. A lot of pressure now on Steve McNamara. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there over the course of the winter months. But there you go. Salford Red Devils 27, Catalan Dragons 12. Salford looking good for a playoff spot as we now go to the final game. And what a belter it was as well, as we take a look at London as they went to the John Smith Stadium. Huddersfield Giants 22, London Broncos 16. A thought for Mr. Eccles. What must be going through his mind? Oh, yet again, it was in the palm of his hand, wasn't it? The 2 points, and they just continued to let them slip. The amount of points that London have left on the field, and all those Hull FC fans would have been sweating, because London, for me, probably, I think, perhaps the better side, just, I think. I don't know. It was very, very close, don't get me wrong. And I'll tell you the reason why I say that, because I thought they were in the box seat. I really did. I thought they started the game really, really well. They get off to a good start. They get a try in there. And you just think, yeah, do you know what? They're looking pretty good here. And then Hakeem Malouda. I mean, if Brian Clough is Hakeem Malouda's coach in Super League, let me tell you now, he'd be on that sideline going, that was a disgrace. You shouldn't be trying to do an offload there. That was my best Brian Clough impression, by the way. But it's true, absolutely bloody disgrace is what he'd be saying. Unbelievable, that decision from Hakeem Malouda. What are you trying to offload for on your own 30-metre line when you're in control of a game? And of course, what happens next? In goes to Ilalea. Unbelievable. And he just kept doing that. Key moments in the game, making errors. Jack Campagnolo, we're massive advocates of Campagnolo. We think he's been having a fantastic back end of the season. Why are you trying to do a short kick out? What are you doing? Plenty of time on the clock. You don't need to do that. Back your day. I mean, don't get me wrong. They have been under the cosh for quite a while. They were blowing. So maybe you thought, look, if we're going to concede, even if we kick it long, we're absolutely shattered. Let's try and get the ball back, maybe. But for me, wrong decision. Back your D, get that ball as far away from your own line as you possibly could. Didn't take that decision. And I think, credit has got to go away to the Huddersfield Giants. Every time London made an error in this game, they picked their pockets. And that you've just got to say, very well done. Very well done to the Huddersfield Giants. Will Luke Robinson be happy with this? No, I think he'll be happy with the 2 points. Will he be happy with the overall performance? Probably not. I think he'll recognise that London were right in the grind in this one. But, he won't be too worried. They're very much in that, probably going to finish top of tier 3, maybe. It's all about next year now for Luke Robinson. Of course, a lot of talk about what acquisitions could be coming in for 2025. So he won't be too concerned about this. As for Eccles, it's a hammer blow, because, of course, this was a real opportunity for them to come off that bottom spot. And I still think they've got an opportunity, because I think, actually, at this moment in time, Hull FC look like they're going to concede more points in a game than London do. London are showing that they're competitive at this time, and there's not an awful lot in it when you look at the points difference, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who've not actually looked at the table or seen it, I mean, at this moment in time, London are minus 541. The FC at -492. That's not a lot. That is really not a lot. I think it's 49 by my maths. So 49 points. And when you consider, FC have got some really tough games on the horizon. London haven't got easy ones either. But what I would say about the London Broncos is they just look a team that are more capable of keeping the margins tighter. So that's not an awful lot of points with 2 games to go. It could be that London, even without a win, managed to claw themselves off bottom spot because of the for and against. It could happen, is what I would say in this one. Really, just don't know what happened at full time. That was an interesting one. What happened at full time? I didn't quite get it, if I'm being perfectly honest. You're not telling me London didn't perform a scrum. I mean, over a minute goes by and he's just let the clock tick down, and the hooter goes and he blows the whistle. I mean, London needed a converted try at the end to get a win. Or not get a win, to go to golden point. Surely they must have formed the scrum. Those of you in the stadium, because it didn't really show it too clearly on the TV. Did they form the scrum? What happened there? Was that a complete and utter meltdown from the London Broncos? Or was it poor officiating? I don't know. But I find it really odd that over a minute goes by and the scrum hadn't been taken. Very, very odd indeed. Help me out on that. Didn't quite get it. I've said this all season. London have made many friends. The way they've gone about it, I was listening to the Final Whistle podcast this morning. Thank you to those who took part in that. If you haven't listened to the Final Whistle, go and download it now on Amazon, Apple, or Spotify. Just search for Super League Raw. You'll find the Super League Raw Weekly and the Final Whistle podcast there. Go and listen to Round 25 Final Whistle podcast. And, it was the consensus of opinion that London have won a lot of friends this season. I think it was Craig Forth in the Final Whistle who said that he felt that when they came up, they were going to be the whipping boys, and they haven't been. They've got better all the way through the season. They play with heart, they play with soul. They deserve not to finish bottom of the pile. They really do. If they're not going to be in Super League next year, I would hope that they could raise their heads high. They will do anyway. But if they could finish 11th, I think that would be quite fitting for Mike Eccles, the London team, and the way they've gone about this season. There's no doubt about it. Hull FC have down tools. We did that on In the Sheds earlier in the weekend. There's no doubt about it. Hull FC, a lot of questions there for you to answer. And of course, next year, you're bringing in a lot of experience, but really, I just don't get where they're going. I don't know what Hull FC's identity is. I know what London's identity is. It's hard work, graft, togetherness. Many congratulations to each and every one of those players. Like I say, London, good effort. Huddersfield, I'll just be happy to get off with the 2 points. Let's get into the 3-2-1. 3 points go to Tui Lolohea at fullback. Great performances from Lolohea. 2 tries, 131 metres from 23 carries. He got 5 attacking kicks, 7 kicks in general play, 3 tackle busts in there. He just marshalled it really well. I thought he had a really solid game, did Tui Lolohea. He gets my 3 points this week. 2 points are going to go to Seb Ikehefo. Oh, yeah, like a good prop forward. I thought he was really good in this game, Ikehefo. 117 metres from 14 carries, 5 tackle busts. He had a real solid game down the middle, played very, very well indeed. I'm going to give 1 point in defeat to Ollie Leyland. Ollie Leyland set up 2 of the London Broncos tries. I thought his kicking game, especially in the first half, was very, very good indeed. Had a good game, did Ollie Leyland, and fully deserving of the 1 point. There you go, in the sheds for another weekend. Come and gone. Huddersfield Giants, do you agree with my 3-2-1? London Broncos, what do you think? You out there that just love Super League, come on, get in the chat. What have you made of London this year? Let's give them the praise that they deserve. It's been a fantastic round number 25. We will be back for Super League Raw Weekly tomorrow night live on Facebook and YouTube, 8 p.m. You can't beat a bit of weekly. Make sure that you watch that, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't done already, go over and download the Final Whistle podcast. That's been In the Sheds. That's been round 25. Rugby League, the winner. Some brilliant games this weekend. Roll on round 26. We'll see you next time.